Welcome back to the PI Show, viewers. We're on the subject of sexual harassment in the workplace and the David Jones case. And our special guest is Kathy Karademas.
Good evening.
Who's been previously on the show in relation to this issue.
That's right.
Yeah.
Part of the furniture now with the sexual harassment cases.
Harry, it's an interesting case. It seems to have touched...
seems to be a bit of a soap opera, and there's been amendments to a statement of claim.
That's right.
And it's alleging conduct by McGuinness 20 years previously to his previous employer, and allegations about sexual misconduct there, as well as David Jones.
Well, Harry, he's come back punching because when I was in Queensland last week, one of the local newspapers had approached him and he said, look, this is all scandalous and I'm sick of it and I'm flabbergasted and all sorts of things. And he's also got his wife on his side. She's supporting him all the way. And 20 years ago, what do you think? It sounds starting to get a bit far-fetched.
It doesn't. The relevance is questionable, Tony. I mean, it has some relevance, but not.
What do you
a lot.
think, Kathy? I mean, you were sceptical about the allegations to start with. What do you think
It's
about
always
them now?
good to look at it from a different angle, Tony. But basically, my view on that is that he's actually written a statement stating, or allegedly stating, that he doesn't deny all allegations. So therefore, he's obviously conceding to some. So that's of interesting fact. While he believes that most of them are scandalous and erroneous, he's still not denying everything that's been stated about him. So I think it's an interesting aspect.
Harry, a lot of the pleadings, don't really stack up, do they?
No, look, the more I've looked at it and the more people are looking at the pleadings, I think there's a real weakness in the case, which is that, firstly, I don't think it's under the Trade Practices Act at all. I think it's misconceived. It's not misleading and deceptive conduct in the course of commerce. It's got to be another party alleging a company's misled and deceived them. It can't be an employee of a firm alleging the company's misleading under the Trade Practices Act.
I read it to mean misrepresented in terms of her employment contract, but not... The Trade Practices Act surely can't apply.
I don't think it does.
No.
Secondly, the punitive damages, which is the big headline figure of $37 million.
35 million.
Sorry, $35 million.
Punitive damages... No,
$2 million
is the whole
out.
claim.
Yeah. But 35 for punitive damages
are, in simple language, is punishment damages.
Is to punish and deter conduct by a defendant. Yes. So it's a very unusual matter to be awarded in Australia. My knowledge is it's never been awarded in a damages trial. Sorry, I might be wrong, but rarely awarded in
these circumstances like this.
Well, in torts. Now, Tony, she's sued in tort, that is negligent conduct by the employer.
Yep.
And to me, that's misconceived as well.
Well, she hasn't satisfied the thresholds.
That's right.
The thresholds are different in Victoria and New South Wales, but my understanding is in New South Wales she needs 15% whole body impairment.
Before she can actually sue in tort.
Is that psychiatric impairment, isn't it?
But this has been pleaded, which is of interesting fact. So, I mean, they've put this in the pleadings without actually being able... Well, we don't know whether they'll be able to prove from that angle if it is tort.
Prima facie doesn't seem as though she's got a 15% whole person impairment damage from her conduct, the way she's conducted herself. Now, the punitive damages are related to the tort. If there's no
tort,
if there's no tort at all, then the punitive damages fall by the wayside.
There is a tort, but a tort that doesn't satisfy the Accident Compensation Act or equivalent of New South Wales.
So that part of it seems misconceived, and if that's right, then the lawyers who have drafted the pleadings might have something to answer.
Well, that's right, because I mean, that obviously they'll have to face or could face consequences from the Legal Profession Board. Is that not something that has to be considered as well?
Look, they've used the shotgun approach here. They've basically thrown everything into the mix.
But isn't that unethical though, Tony? Because if you're trying to actually put some, from a legal perspective, as
a lawyer, you've got to have a legal foundational basis to actually allege something or plead something. You just can't put it in there because you're going to
It's convenient.
Well, if you're
That's
trying to
exactly
make it to settle without it actually being a proper case on merits with facts and evidence, then you're actually misconstruing the court as well, and it's a breach of ethics.
What are you saying, Kevin? You're trying to blackmail the organisation, basically.
Well, you know me and my little theories there, Tony.
It's not a matter of blackmail, Tony. It's a matter of they've put the claim in court. It's a public document. Anyone can download it. You can read it. A number of lawyers have analysed it, and I think they've come up with some bona fide criticism of the pleading. And David Jones's lawyers would be carefully looking at all angles. I'm surprised they haven't actually taken any action.
Interlocutory steps, that is.
Yeah,
procedural steps to attack the claim.
To attack the pleading before a defence is put in.
Well, Harry,
If I was,
They still
if
have
I was,
time though. So
oh, they seem to be
It-
contemplating putting a defence in without attacking the pleading.
well, Harry, if we go over some
might
of
be
the
a matter of
past,
strategy.
if we go over some of the past judgments or settlements
That's
involving
right.
these sorts of cases, geez, there are lots more than this one.
There is, and
You're
also
very,
what's
very
interesting with that aspect is that they're pure sexual harassment cases, not really touching on punitive damages. Actually, we can safely assume that they're not, and they're not even. I mean, if we take the punitive damages in the David Jones claim, which is what you said, 35 million, so therefore she's seeking 2 million in damages. These
That's still
are,
out of it.
it's still exceeding the threshold of what it's actually been awarded by federal court and federal magistrates court
Well,
in sexual harassment
The
cases.
highest award that I can put my hands on is 23rd of June 2009, which involved a rape, I think, as well. And the plaintiff in that case got $90,000 for general damages, past loss of income of $200,000, and future loss of income of $140,000, which brings it up to $466,000. Now, a rape is a pretty serious.
That's right.
That was one of the allegations, and there were many, many more, Tony, and there was a lot of medical evidence brought about her psychiatric condition.
And then when you go over the rest of these cases, Harry, I mean, the figures are 17,000, 16,000, 15,000, 24,000. They're
That's
pretty
right.
insignificant as compared to what she's currently
Claiming for.
Claiming.
That's right. But there's also, Tony, 2,000 at the Federal Magistrates Court in 2005, 3,000 in 2006. So clearly, obviously the circumstances play a role, but obviously matters such as rape will take into account greater general damages and future loss of income, etc., because of psychiatric claims as well. Than what this case
Harry,
here
what's
for
her
humiliation.
damage? What's her damage?
From the pleadings, you'd assess damages in the sum of $15,000. That's generally just reading the pleadings, and there's 2 incidents, 2 lunches, and that's how I'd assess
And a
the
few
claim.
text messages and emails too, which again, we don't know what they
Invitations.
stated.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
on the pleadings itself, it's a modest claim. It's
Well,
a modest claim.
I
But-
think it's time, Harry, we're going to have to continue this again another time, and obviously the defence will be coming out shortly, so we'll
yes, it's an
obviously...
ongoing saga.
Viewers, I mean, stay tuned because this is something that we'll keep bringing forward to you. But please, after the sponsors break, keep watching because we've got the mailbag coming up.